Germany, Truth and Reality. An interview with Stefan-Andreas Goerlitz in 2009.
Guten Tag, Herr Görlitz. Sie haben sich bereit erklärt.
Welcome you, Mr. Goerlitz. You agreed to an interview today concerning the subject of present-day politics and present-day public law in Germany. You are one of the initiators and the chairman of the Union for Human Rights, Democracy and Constitutional State. Would you be so kind and explain to us what the Union for Human Rights, Democracy and Constitutional State is, which goals it pursues and how its foundation came about?
Demokratie und Rechtsstaatlichkeit ist, welche Ziele sie verfolgt, wie es zur Gründung gekommen ist?
Gerne, Herr Zikeli. Zunächst mal herzlichen Dank für Ihre Einladung. Wenn man in Deutschland über
With pleasure, Mr. Zikeli. But first let me thank you very much for your invitation. If one must talk about human rights, democracy and constitutional state in Germany, at first it sounds strange. But the legal position in Germany makes it quite necessary to be concerned about the state of the democratic and constitutional situation, as well as the compliance and translation into action of the General Declaration of Human Rights. The Union for Democracy, Constitutional State and Human Rights is an organization which wants to give people who are searching a political home. Among us there are people with different views who come together, such as former Christian Democrats, as well as former Social Democrats or Liberals, and many people who in the past kept distance from political parties out of political peevishness. The Union for Democracy, Constitutional State and Human Rights was founded in December 2007 in response to the increasingly critical legal situation in Germany. There are more and more illegal infringements where the rights and the basic rights guaranteed by the basic law are being stomped on. We made it our business to assist people in their situation and give them political and legal support.
Demokratie und Rechtsstaatlichkeit ist im Dezember 2007 gegründet worden, vor dem Hintergrund einer sich zuspitzenden Rechtslage in Deutschland. Es kommt immer häufiger zu unrechtsstaatlichen Übergriffen, bei denen die Rechte und die grundgesetzlich garantierten Grundrechte der Menschen mit Füßen getreten werden. Wir haben uns zur Aufgabe gemacht, Menschen in ihrer Situation zu unterstützen, ihnen politisch und juristisch Beistand zu leisten.
Wären Sie so nett und konkretisieren etwas?
Would you be so kind in putting concrete terms the point of unlawful infringements which can be observed repeatedly or even increasingly in Germany?
Vielleicht sogar vermehrt in letzter Zeit.
Gerne. Es ist für jeden, auch juristischen Laien, eindeutig.
Gladly. It is obvious and understandable to everyone, even for a layman in legal things, that when we talk about a constitutional state we can refer to written law. Every layman must be able to verify through law books whatever happens in a courtroom or in written proceedings before a hearing. If we look today at a normal average proceeding for a violation against order, we can go to any district court in Germany. We will see that the most basic and simple rules of a constitutional state are no longer followed. That means a judge does not reveal his name at the summons, but how can I as a layman verify my legal judge? The basic law states a legal judge cannot be withheld from anybody. But when I don't know who my legal judge is, I cannot check whether the person that summons me to come to court is listed in the plan for allotment of work in a court and can be verified as my legal judge.
Wie kann ich aber als Laie meinen gesetzlichen Richter?
Point 2 is that as a principle, documents are no longer signed in the courts. As a rule, you will not get a signature from a judge. Instead, so-called duplicates are drawn up. But if we talk about the form of judgments, the form of drawings, and the form of attests, again we have legal regulations. That means every layman can look up what a duplicate has to look like, or how from a formal point of view a judgment has to look like. And within the past 5 to 6 years of my legal work I have not received one judgment that was signed. I did not find one duplicate of a judgment or a decree that was issued in accordance to legal procedures. Now you must know there is a rule that when a judgment or decree is not issued in accordance with the legal rules, it has no legal force. If it has no legal force, it is not legally binding, neither can it become legal by default of term nor by decree. As you can see, we are in the middle of a legal discussion, but these are basics. Today people are sentenced based on invalid dummy documents which are sent to them. Behind this, the fact is hidden that there is no one at court that wants to stand up for what he does in the courtroom.
Bestimmt ist. Und ich habe in der Zeit der letzten, ich würde sagen, 5 bis 6 Jahre meiner juristischen Arbeit nicht ein Urteil in die Hände bekommen, was unterschrieben war. Ich habe nicht eine Ausfertigung eines Urteils oder eines Beschlusses erhalten oder einsehen können, was den Vorschriften, den rechtlichen Vorgaben entsprechend ausgeführt war. So, jetzt muss man wissen, es herrscht ein Grundsatz, wenn ein Beschluss oder ein Urteil nicht den Rechtsvorschriften der Form nach entspricht, dann ist es nicht rechtskraftfähig. Wenn etwas nicht rechtskraftfähig ist, dann kann es weder durch Fristablauf noch durch Beschluss in Rechtskraft erwachsen. Sie merken schon, wir sind mitten im Juristischen, aber das ist das kleine Einmaleins. Menschen werden heute verurteilt aufgrund von nichtigen Scheindokumenten, die man ihnen ins Haus schickt. Dahinter verbirgt sich, dass es bei den Gerichten niemanden mehr gibt, der für das gerade stehen möchte, was er dort im Gerichtssaal fabriziert.
Aber worauf führen Sie das zurück?
To what do you attribute the rise of this situation? To the spectator this sounds, I would say, like a chaotic situation in the background of the so-called German courts.
Ich würde sagen, im Hintergrund die doch sehr chaotischen Situationen an den deutschen sogenannten Gerichten.
Ich möchte nicht von Chaos sprechen. Ich möchte von einer Inszenierung sprechen.
I don't want to talk about chaos. I want to talk about a setup. That is a setup in which we, the citizens, are the unknown supernumeraries. This setup started already in the year 1945 and continues to the year 2009. The basic cause is that in our legal system we have a state of distress, which is based on the fact that basic law, which is the highest standard law in occupied Germany, right after occupation law and right after the Hague Convention respecting the rules of war on land, that this basic law was abolished by the Allies in 1990 during the negotiations of the 4+2 Treaty.
Besatzungsrecht und gleich nach der Hager Landkriegsordnung, dass dieses Grundgesetz im Jahre 1990 im Zuge der Verhandlungen über den 4+2-Vertrag durch die Alliierten aufgehoben worden ist.
May I take this subject up? Yes, please. First of all, I believe that to many spectators it is not necessarily clear what a basic law is. Mr. Goerlitz once said that we don't need a new constitution because we have a basic law, but many of the spectators read in the newspapers that Mr. Müntefering of the SPD demanded a constitution for Germany, as it was also requested in Article 146 of the Basic Law, since it was written down. What is the difference between a basic law and a constitution?
Seit Entstehung des Grundgesetzes gefordert wurde. Wie verhält es sich mit einem Grundgesetz im Vergleich zu einer Verfassung?
Das ist leicht erklärt. Es gibt in Deutschland einen Staat.
That is easily explained. There is a state in Germany, a state on German soil. I must correct myself. This state is called German Empire. This state, German Empire, participated in World War II and left the battlefield as a loser. As a result, the troops of this state surrendered and the state had to hand over his right as a sovereign to the victors.
Der Staat hat seine Hoheitsgewalt.
Now one maybe knows from history class in school that each state has his own constitution. The constitution of a population is the highest standard valid law in the state. It defines the basic rights, the rights and obligations, represents the supreme power, and it defines the national territory in which it is operative. When the Allies in 1945 took over the control, they simply ignored our constitution